Hey, welcome back everybody to 416 Todd. This is number 9. Sorry I didn't get one out yesterday. Had a lot to do. Uh, I'm trying to make this one before I can start getting ready for work right now. So we're gonna kind of try to like blow by it real quick. And today, I tried doing Tob in HD. I thought maybe it would make it look more interesting. I've definitely thought it was so. Interestingly enough, I had to do this. I had to actually do like 7 different raids to get the recording for this because I spent so much time trying to troubleshoot why the actual RuneScape recording was it was lagging like a lot. It would just like freeze like every couple seconds, and like every time I thought I fixed it, it would start freezing again after like 2 bosses. So I spent a whole literally like 6 or 7 raids trying to get just footage for this. So that's also kind of why it was also late. Because I ended up doing raids last night trying to get footage, not working out, and then this morning I finally got a recording. I just did this raid probably about 20 minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago. Honestly, kind of solid raid. I did have like a little hiccup with the blitz there, but that's kind of mostly the biggest mistake that I really make in the whole raid, honestly. There's these like little buds. Also, funny quirk about HD, because if you might notice that her blood attack is a different colored blood from the blood that the blood pools put down. It's very like I noticed it mid raid. I was like, wow, that's oddly like disturbing looking. Like for some reason, like my eyes really don't like the blood that she throws because it's like the same color as the ground almost, it feels like. Also, like the random blood textures that are just a part of the arena here, like I kept looking at them. I kept like, after I realized that the color of blood that she throws is like kind of that same color, I was like, oh no, are those tiles that are blood? And I figured out probably like right around here after I drank this restore. I was like, yeah, no, those are not bloods. Also, kind of lucky freeze here where it caught both the blood and the blood nihilo beside each other, and I was able to scythe them both down. Crazy. uh I mean, it's not that impactful, but it was impactful enough that I was like, that's pretty fire. I would honestly, I wish like that kind of happened more in this raid, just like uh to kind of like feel like there's less RNG to it, because a lot of times like the enemy I think of like good MMORPG boss design is like kind of randomness to an extent that like you can't be prepared. Like all attacks are random in most RPG bosses, but like the attack happens and then they teach you what to do in response to the attack, right? But like with the bloods, it's like, well, it has nothing to do with how you're responding. It just kind of paths randomly around the field, and I'm not quite sure I like that concept. Um, it adds an element of uncertainty to every raid that I guess you could argue that it keeps it fresh. Also, I missed both of these Tebow shots by a tick. I mean, I hit the shots, but when you're tick perfect about it, the fly he can't fly you. And so I kind of flubbed it up. I actually don't think I can get 3 scythes here. So I go for 2 and I go for a chally because I kind of like, I was so late because I had already started rounding the corner back. I don't know why I had clicked so far back in oh, it was because he turned around, right? And I was like, oh no, he's gonna take like a few more ticks to come back around, and I was moving around just in case. And then as soon as he turned around, he downed, so that was unfortunate. um but yeah, uh one of the weird things that happens here is this guy dies right here, if I remember right. Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, question mark, but brother, that was your fault. I hate to tell you, but this other guy right here that like stayed on him till he downed, bro. Those guys had nothing to do with their death right there. If you were already gone around the corner, like those flies were way out of range for you. So I don't know what he's question mark about. Unless he's like questioning why the bloat didn't go down sooner, but that's probably because the people were getting flied. One of the things that I don't necessarily enjoy about mechanics that of like RNG style, they kind of go back to the previous topic, like the RNG kind of style mechanics, like bloat feet falling from the ceiling, for example, is I think time-based, like reaction-based mechanics are fine to some extent, but like I feel like some reaction-based mechanic, like if your mechanic is reaction-based, I think you need to have more of a tell than it just happening, right? Like that's why I think like the bloat feet falling from the ceiling are kind of like a little bit of bad game design, because yes, the shadows kind of preempt the foot, but the like it's bad design in the same sense that like your focus isn't on where you're walking, because of like how inherent, like because the fight is you always have to be looking at bloat to decide if he's going to turn, like if he's turned around or not, right? So you're always in this like constant battle of like ring around the rosy, and then like suddenly like it's like if somebody literally stuck their foot out and tried to trip you in a game of tag, right? Like you ran by your buddy that wasn't it, and he trips you, and he tries to trip you intentionally in the middle of the game of tag. That's fucked up, right? But like that's kind of like a bloat foot. You're not looking for your buddy to trip you. You're trying not to get tagged. And so like I don't know. It's just like it's one of those weird things that I don't actually think contributes to mental stack, but it's just like a mechanic that preys upon perceptual blindness. And I guess that's fine, honestly. I mean, I'm not really that hard pressed about it. It's just like observational, I think. Because I mean, like at the end of the day, like I still think it's fun. But like I just feel like I feel like there could be like a better designed mechanic that isn't like so abusive to the five senses, is what I would say. But then again, you know, after like a couple seconds of more consideration about it, maybe that's maybe that's better actually, because one of my criticisms of like more modern MMOs like WoW, is that perhaps they're maybe too simplistic in design, right? They're maybe too catered to people that are unwilling to take the time to learn something. Like WoW is a great example, because WoW is pretty infamous for its just don't stand in the giant big red circle, right? And you could argue that like giant big red circle is like maybe a bit overkill for game design wise, like making sure people understand what's about to happen. And honestly, I don't know that I necessarily disagree with that assessment either. Like, yes, like the giant big red circle is kind of like I feel like it's like beating a dead horse in a sense, but at the same time, so like, okay, I think it's beating a dead horse in the internet age, because in a sense that most mechanics are already previously, like before you ever do anything in a video game these days, you will have it explained to you by another person. You'll look up a guide, you'll figure out what to do. Rarely do people go into anything in video games these days what's the word for it, uneducated about what can happen. And so I think the giant big red circle kind of like beats a dead horse in the sense that you already know what's going to happen, so why is the giant big red circle there? But at the same time, the only way that people figure out what happens a lot of times is because of the giant big red circle. And I mean like a lot of mechanics are kind of unexplored in that sense. Like, so is it really a bad thing, or is it even like really like a criticizable thing? It's hard to say. I think maybe there can be some more like some egregious cases that could be like more heavily criticized. I could think of like a few specific. By the way, right here, like I get all my like I see my Nez helm and I'm like in my brain I'm like fucked up. I'm like trying to figure out what is, because I don't have inventory tags on HD. And so like I was like, fuck. And usually the way I identify what is what for switches is based on the color of the switch that I have marked the inventory tag for. And so like I spent like a good amount of time just trying to figure out where everything was in my inventory and what everything was in my inventory. So honestly, this Nilo could have been better, but honestly, I give myself like some leniency. Also, I pre-switched melee there. I'm pretty sure I would have died if that Nilo didn't die there because I had already clicked. But to go back to what I was saying is, it was like, I don't know. It's just kind of like one of those things where like I'm old enough now to have played in both the era without the giant big red circles and played a lot in the era of giant big red circles. And I would say that like giant big red circles like definitely improved the masses ability to understand what's going on in a raid. And I mean like literally generalized masses, because like in order for the modern age to have kept up with the era of the internet, like they had to introduce public, the idea of like a public queue for people to just be able to do your content with random people, right? Because in this day and age, like where the economy, I live in America, by the way. In this day and age where the economy is so rough on the individual, where you have to spend upwards of 16 hours of your day most of the time working to be able to survive at all, like it's unrealistic to think that anyone's ever going to be able to get to find people that not only are interested in the things that you're interested in, but also be able to get them together all at the same time to do the thing that you want to do, that ideally you would all want to do, right? But it's just a little like logistically. And by the way, I click here, I tick early on accident and I accidentally let them EVS3 instead of S4. He's gonna question mark me here for it. I was like, yeah, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. But like it's kind of like the D&D problem, right? Where like everybody wants to play D&D, but nobody really has the schedule or the flexibility anymore to actually sit down and play it you know, a 2-3 hour game of something, because that's all of your free time, including the time that you're like delegated to like do the things that you need to do in life, clean, eat, you know what I'm saying? Like just generalized self-maintenance. It's just unrealistic. And so I think the giant big rig circle might also be a byproduct of the modern era, the era of lack of free time. And I mean, I wish it was different, but I think I see the necessity in it as well. Because you also have to realize you now have to design your games in a way that everything can be like done unspokenly, because in the past there are tons of raid mechanics that required tons of verbal communication in order for you to have to been successful in doing it, right? And without that ability to have that verbal communication with strangers, you create a need to have your mechanics like incredibly apparent, like visually, not only visually but auditorily apparent too. Like, and I mean, you could argue that like forces better game design, but I think it also kind of simplifies game design to an extent that is, it can be mind-numbing sometimes. By the way, RNG mechanics that definitely need more of a tell, this mechanic for sure, because like one tick to click and decide where the fucking the coffins are is just ridiculous. That's why they gave you like, you can still hit for the CA for this. each of these graves get up to 2 attacks before you fail the CA, because it's just so bullshit actually. And honestly, I think that's probably the most cringe part about Zarp is, it's not even like the fact that like his attacks are like weird and like delay and like don't make a lot of sense like visually on how you need to do it. By the way, this mistake right here kind of gave me a new idea for how to do this, because like that double step back drop the manta kind of like just put me in cycle. I think I'm gonna try that more often, you know what I'm saying? Because like, damn, look, I was just right in. I think that might be it. But to kind of go back to what I was saying, just to kind of wrap it up in a nice neat bow, maybe I'm just being a little cringe. Maybe my opinion is the wrong opinion. And I think it's probably safe to say that like the necessity that the things I stated creates make for a pretty solid argument for why they need to exist. But yeah, I mean, like, this Zarpus going fire. I do fuck up the Scythe Walk right here because I kind of like stall out like mentally, and I was pretty happy about this Zarpus Scythe Walk, honestly. Because I knew he was like pretty much down here. I didn't even bother switching T-Bow. This guy did rag that one tile, but honestly, we got most of the travel tiles unragged, so we're gonna fucking breeze through this Zarpus actually. I don't think anyone actually died besides Nyla's, but unfortunately, we still, just to kind of give an update on purple status, even with all the raids that I did, still no purple. So unfortunate, I know. And this raid is also no purple. I know, spoiler. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I didn't I know last time I was talking about potentially speeding up the video playback feed by 30%. I'm still not locked in on doing that yet. And the reason why is like I don't know. It feels like it would make this very weird. Like very weird looking. I haven't fully tested it yet because I haven't figured out how to do it yet, and I think how I would have to do it is like kind of like do some jank, like upload it to YouTube, upgrade do up the speed on the YouTube video, download or like record the YouTube video or something, like because I don't believe Windows Media Player has like an increased speed functionality. I'm gonna look more into it today, as it was just mostly an idea last time. But I think if I'm going to commit to it, I will. Also, I pre this Manta here, assuming that hit was like going to fucking blow me up. And I was like, well, 17. I ate it, and I was like, well, it wasn't that bad actually. But yeah, I'll look more into it. So I kind of flubbed this up right here, cause thinking that I was gonna get the staff, so like I didn't go. I do end up getting the staff afterwards, but like it ended up like making me miss a whole attack cycle trying to just make sure that I didn't end up behind the pillar. Also, I ate this pillar for fucking some reason. Like I swear I was clicking away, but I should have like stepped out, I guess, rather than like just click into the space I needed to be. I was so confident in the Scythe Walk here, I didn't even bother like actually brewing up. Like it was crazy how confident I was. Also, I just let this guy fucking deal with the purple Nido. Cause like I was like, fuck that guy. I don't know why. Also, like I don't have anything to deal with the purple Nido, so what am I gonna do? Jerry, what are we gonna do, Jerry? But nah, dude, this first like went fucking pretty smooth for the most part, besides like the pillar falling on me actually. I do remember like so you might notice that HDOS has like this nice Thrall Helper plugin that'll shout at me, and it actually like puts it in a place meaningfully enough that I actually like see that shit. That's some like real tech that I might look for on the RuneLite client. You see, like I see that it pops up and I was like, oh shit, I can summon my Thrall, dude. I was on top of that shit, bro. In Verzik actually. One of the things that that I think is probably like more unexplored by most of the top community is like sacrificing attacks to slow down the projectiles for people that are bumped. I mean, in theory, right, you shouldn't ever have to do it because if you play good, you never get bumped, right? But like at the same time, like maybe going forward in the future, what I might start doing is if they bump me, or if I see, I'm sorry, not bump me. If I see somebody else on my team get bumped, I'm gonna try to run to the wall and see if I can delay how fast the cabbage falls so they can get out of the way of it. Because I think that's like some real like actual teamwork tech that kind of rarely happens in ToB. I mean, like you do see like a little bit of it with the webs and like people getting caught in webs, and you can free them if you attack them, but like you just don't really ever do it because slowing down DPS on Verzik is probably like just worse, you know, or just better, you know, like, or yeah, I said it right the first time. Because like in theory, like one more attack on Verzik is probably just better overall than like one attack on your ally, because like the faster you kill Verzik, the less supplies you'll have to use for everybody. So I don't know. It's an interesting juxtaposition, right? Like what is better for, is it better for everybody to like lose less supplies by Verzik dying faster and people not make mistakes, or is it better to save a person so they have to use less, significantly less supplies as an individual? I don't know. That's like, it's like a weird area where I think math actually answers the question well. Because like if you ran the numbers on it, by the way, late switch there. If you ran the numbers on like how much one attack saves overall as far as like damage time, I'm sure it would be like, by the way, I fucked this up pretty bad right here. I just remembered. Like, yeah, I accidentally get like a tick behind and then I skip an attack to try to catch back up, and I don't know why that guy did. But now I think I'm actually a tick ahead too, which is a little cringe. But thankfully, we were all good. How did that guy get caught? I just realized I didn't see that guy get caught in the raid. That's wild, bro. What you doing over there, cuz? But like, yeah, I would, because like, I'm just trying to think. Because it only takes one other person to free somebody, right? You don't have to have more than one person free a person. So you're only down one. So if you make a mistake, like you get caught on webs, right? You're only down one attack. Potentially multiple if you decide to brew up afterwards. And if you free him, then you guarantee that he doesn't have to spend extra time brewing at the cost of one attack. So honestly, it might be like, it might end up working out that it might just be better to free people, really. Like, that's how it goes. Yep, no purple. I didn't get MVP here, but let's check the loot out. The loot was, if I remember right, it was not the greatest. Whew. Sorry, tired. I'm up pretty early trying to get this recording out. And the loot. Ah, cringe. No pit. But that's pretty much everything. Thank you everybody for watching the video. I'm sorry that I missed yesterday's, but between technical difficulties and work, it was just kind of like, it was a recipe for disaster. I still got to make the thumbnail for this video. I'm sorry that the last thumbnail was so rushed, but as you could probably tell by the end of yesterday's recording, I didn't really have a whole lot of time. I just kind of threw it together in like 3 seconds, put it in, and I had to go. I spent a lot of that time yesterday doing a lot of real life stuff. I don't want to talk a whole lot about it because, I mean, you guys would care, but I don't want you to be worried. But if you liked it, I appreciate it, man. If you're somebody I know, yo, what up? Say hello. If you're somebody I don't, what up? Say hello. But y'all be safe, everybody. Take care, alright?